So my name's Lewis. I'm currently with a long-time partner of 14 years, Lucy, and we live at home on our own in our own property. And at the time, we had a cat. We've now got a lovely puppy as well. 8th of November 2022 was a bit of a D-day for me. I woke up with a bit of a headache. Thought it was just a headache. I thought it was just a case of being dehydrated when I first woke up. So I went to try and get a drink from the bathroom. Ended up going and feeling like I was walking a little bit funny at the time, and I thought I've just slept funny on my leg, just totally dismissing everything. Went and sat back down on the bed. Ironically, the cat that I've spoke about walked in, and at the time when I was trying to, as you do with your pets, don't you? We all love our pets. I tried to say good morning to him, and I couldn't speak. Obviously, we arranged for the ambulance, first responder and things, because it's not right, it wasn't normal. First responders came, and it was brilliant, absolutely fantastic, doing a few tests. Within about half an hour, I was starting to be a little bit more cohesive. I had a splitting headache, still couldn't really walk properly. So we'll take you into hospital for a preliminary check. And after having a CT scan, they established that I'd had a major stroke in the back of my brain. Obviously, a stroke, for anybody not aware, it's a blood clot that had started somewhere that had ended up in my brain and cut off the blood supply to part of my brain, which had killed that part of my brain, which is never going to come back. It was a strange sensation. And then to get that news, it was, I don't know, sort of like, people said at the time, stop still, and it really did. Bit of health background, I'd never had anything wrong with me. I'd always been relatively fit. I played rugby when I was younger. I still currently referee, so I referee rugby league. I was in the Army Cadet Force for 15 years, so I was always a really active person, always running about, always doing bits and pieces. So I was never, I'd never put myself in that sort of a category. I'd never had any problems with blood pressure or anything like that. There was just zero signs. So I was off work fully for about 6 months. Obviously, where I was working were really, really good with me, and they were in a position to obviously allow me to sort of come back a little bit more phased. But the whole process of being off and coming back, it took a full 12 months. I mean, my life changed on that day, and there's quite a few different ways which it changed. I mean, I, in essence, woke up having a stroke. I go to bed now and worry about it happening again the next day, and that was quite recurrent it was every night for the first 6 to 9 months. By thinking that, look, I was really unlucky for it to happen. They never found anything that was, because even with all the tests and everything that happened afterwards, something went wrong that day, and they still haven't found particularly what it is. I think that's one of the scariest things, is that it wasn't you had a stroke because X, it was you've had a stroke, ? And I think having that in the back of your mind, that doubt still plagues me to this day. The thoughts of that do get lower and lower, and it's nice to be able to actually have a full night's sleep and everything now. But yeah, no, it was a really scary time. So a huge important thing for me when I was thinking about the future was when I was buying a house, and when I was sort of flying the nest, really. I needed to make sure that my household would be stable should anything ever happen. At the time when I decided to act on this were very, very low. I mean, obviously I was quite young at the time, I was fit, I was well, I was okay. But that still doesn't not put that one doubt in your mind. And I was always told by somebody that you've got to have your foundations in place. And financial foundations, one of those is protection, and one of those is life insurance, critical illness insurance. See, life insurance, if you was to die, which again, the odds of that absolutely minimal, really, but you're putting that protection in place because I needed to make sure that Lucy, my family, would be absolutely fine in the event of death. But critical illness, that's protecting you. And I don't think enough people know about critical illness and know about what it's there for, and how much it helps you. You're paid to protect you. If you have a critical illness, if you have a stroke, a heart attack, lots and lots of other things, it's protecting you at a point where you've not gone anywhere, but you either may or will definitely need some help. Having that protection in place, having critical illness cover there that paid out, it just gave me that comfort blanket, that safety net that allowed me to be able to take nigh on 12 months off work. It gave me options. It put money in my account to where I wasn't feeling the pressure to go back to work. If you're in an employed environment, not enough people, I bet, know this. What are your sickness benefits? Everybody should ask themselves that, and they should know that down to a T. My recovery period was around 12 months. 70. I'm not sure how many people would have that cover. And having the ability to not have to work at all for that period of 12 months if I didn't want to, it made my recovery easier, it made it better. I do think that ultimately it's probably prolonged my life by not having to have that worry. It buys you that little bit of freedom that you need in what is arguably going to be one of the most devastating times of your life. So the plan itself, when it did the particular policy that I had, it gave me access to a mental health sort of sub benefit really to it, which allowed you to obviously have access to counsellors to speak to people. And speaking to somebody independent, I mean, I never thought that I would ever need a counsellor again. I was 34 at the time. I was what should have been the prime of my life, and you just don't expect to have to need that. But having that extra support there was really nice. Knowing that if I ever had children, the children could be covered on there as well. But yeah, there are so many different benefits with different companies. I think on reflection, I think if I was going to change anything about anything I did with financial planning, I think I would have potentially taken out even more cover. I think I would have taken out a higher amount so it would have paid out more. And it's always easy to say that with hindsight, because the more you take out, the more cover that you've got, the more it costs you on a monthly basis. So obviously you've got to get that balance right, of course you have. But I think if I'd have had more cover, it would have given me that more freedom and more stability and more options at that point. And I wish I'd thought about it to the point where I'd actually taken out separate policies as well. So I wish I'd taken out my critical illness policy, but I also wish I'd taken out a separate life policy, because quite often with critical illness policies, once you've claimed, you're going to find it really, really difficult to ever get critical illness or even life cover again. You're going to struggle if you've had something like what I have. So the odds of me getting life insurance now are very, very slim. In hindsight, I probably should have taken out a critical illness policy alongside a separate life insurance policy, so that when my critical illness policy paid out as it did and it saw me through that terrible time, I would have still kept that life policy that should I die at some point in the future, it then obviously pays out to help Lucy and my family at that time. That's probably my only regret, and I've missed the boat on that because of what's happened and not being able to get that done at the time. So I think it's time to drop a little bit of a bombshell. I am actually a financial planner. That is my job. My job is to look after clients, see clients, and help them realize those dreams, goals, and aspirations. And a key foundation to all of this is making sure that you have got that key foundation in place, that keystone of protecting you and your family from anything untoward that could potentially happen in the future with regards to your health. That pillar is insurance. It is life insurance, it's critical illness insurance, it's income protection, all of the above. It's having all of those things in place, ready to protect you. Obviously, that's what being a financial planner is. It's not all about getting the goals at the end. It's about making sure that we're protecting the here and now. We're protecting you against any unforeseen circumstances in the future.